Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name is Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in northeast Nebraska, where a woman convicted for her role in a quadruple homicide heard from the victims' families before she learned her fate. Hanky Hazelton has more from the courtroom and details for what comes next for the man convicted of killing all 4 victims.
Carrie Jones, the wife of Jason Jones, who shot and killed 4 people in Laurel, along with setting their homes on fire, was convicted of first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and being an accessory to a felony. Earlier today, she was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and when had the chance to speak, she declined. But, of course, before leaving, she had to listen to some very powerful impact statements from the victim's family.
But I'll be honest, I do not believe I'll ever be able to forgive the defendant for what she did to my family. However, I know that my mom, dad, and sister, with the kind of loving hearts they were and had, have already forgiven her. That's who they were.
You never fully healed from this. Just put a Band-Aid on and hope for a scar.
The defendant took away the best parts of our family. The defendant destroyed something sacred and irreplaceable, and we live with that pain every single day. Your Honor, the defendant made choices that day that destroyed 4 innocent lives and shattered mine and my family's lives forever. I want her to spend the rest of her life in prison, every single day, remembering what she took from us.
There was also a hearing where mitigations are also underway for her husband, Jason Jones, to see if he will get the death penalty or not from a 3-panel judge. Both parties for or against Jason will have 60 days to provide evidence on why he should or should not receive the death penalty. Now, Jason declined and had the right not to be here in person, but with the judge setting a date for his sentencing on April 10th at 1 p.m. of next year, he is required to be here in attendance. Reporting from the Cedar County Courthouse, Hanky Hazelton, News Channel, Nebraska.
In southeast Nebraska, a fire that raged for hours this week destroyed a home. Fortunately, no one was injured. Fairbury Rural Fire Department responded to this residence late Wednesday. This is what the scene looked like Thursday, with the house completely destroyed. Fire Chief Judd Stewart told News Channel Nebraska it was evident early on the structure could not be saved. Even though the initial blaze was contained after a half an hour, the roof had collapsed, making it impossible for fire crews to access the center of the building without taking it down completely. The house's lone resident was not hurt, nor were any of the 24 first responders. Investigators determined the fire caused by a failure of the electrical system in the house. Stewart also cautioned heating equipment the second leading cause of home fires across the country, saying that taking proper precautions is essential. Well, how much did you pay for your last cup of coffee? Probably more than you used to. Statistics show coffee prices up nearly 20% year over year. But Amy Kiley has more on a new effort to make your morning Java and some foods a bit cheaper.
Experts say the prices of certain grocery items could go down. That's after President Donald Trump removed some tariffs on Brazilian goods yesterday. They include duties on coffee and beef, as well as certain fruit, juices, and nuts.
Consumers are facing the tariff in prices.
The executive order says some U.S. businesses could get refunds. It applies retroactively from November 13th. That's the same day a previous order reduced tariffs on some food items. The U.S. has a trade surplus with Brazil. Trump says he imposed 50% duties on its goods in July to protest the trial of its former leader, Jair Bolsonaro.
President Bolsonaro is not a dishonest man. He loves the people of Brazil. He fought hard for the people of Brazil.
The American people are the ones who pay those tariffs.
A resolution the Senate passed last month would have lifted Trump's Brazilian tariffs, but it stalled in the House.
People are paying more for coffee. They're paying more for beef. They're paying more for fruits and vegetables.
High U.S. inflation dates back to the Biden administration. Trump keeps promising to lower it.
It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that.
But most economists say his tariffs are inflationary.
We all remember when our morning cup of coffee or filling our tank of gas cost less.
Amy Kindly reporting, News Channel Nebraska.
Nebraska's governor is calling for the state to scrap its school funding formula after an 8-figure overpayment. Governor Jim Pillen issued a statement Thursday urging the Nebraska legislature to end the state's TIOSA formula and take over funding of public schools 100% at the state level. That's after the Department of Education said this week that a miscalculation led to Omaha public schools getting $30 million more in state aid than they should have. The complications of school funding were the subject of a legislative hearing on Thursday, where Lincoln Senator Danielle Conrad noted the importance of finding ways to fund school while also increasing its quality.
I want to make sure we don't lose sight of the other goal in TIOSA, because I don't see anything in your testimony here today that talks about ensuring that we meet the other goal of TIOSA. And we hear frequently on this committee about teacher shortage and teacher burnout and where we are in terms of ACT scores and reading scores.
This as the newly created School Financing Review Commission is set to send its first report to the legislature next week, ahead of coming up with recommendations of their own for improving Nebraska's state funding formula. An outside entity wanted to establish a group home for troubled girls in a small southeast Nebraska town, but those plans are on hold after local pushback. Tim Hackett has more.
A plan to convert this building that was once an assisted living center into a group home for at-risk girls was shut down this week when the Wymore City Council, in front of a crowd of about 150 invested onlookers, followed guidance from the city's Planning and Zoning Committee and unanimously rejected the changes to the city codes that would have been required to make the proposed new home viable. The group heading the project request, New Hope Agency of Omaha, had initially hoped their proposed new facility would have already been home to patients and staff by now. But Wymore Mayor Colin Meint says he and the council were never truly informed of the outside group's plans.
I don't think the people involved with New Hope Agency were quite familiar with our city ordinances and our planning and zoning, and I understand because they're not, local.
A New Hope therapist that has been at the forefront of the proposal said she was frustrated with how the Wymore residents received her group and the proposal. She felt the ordinance rejection was both financially and racially motivated.
But if you put it in a program that's going to provide structure, that's going to provide therapy for their trauma, and you provide them with a safe place where they feel accepted. Sometimes you can save a few. You may not be able to get all of them, but the few that you get make a difference.
But the many community members who spoke to NCN after the meeting rejected the racism accusations. Instead, they say they're opposed to the plan because Wymore doesn't have the resources in the school, in law enforcement, and in the town itself to support a project like this.
Buildings shouldn't outweigh our community and children. We're capable of having these discussions and these disagreements without having to go in and threaten people or call people names or say we're unchristian, say that we're running a KKK meeting. We're just parents.
The rejection of the ordinance means the former Hope building must remain vacant for now. It's an end to this chapter of this saga, but all parties believe the story is far from completed. In Wymore, Tim Hackett, News Channel Nebraska.
The city of Hastings ringing in the holiday season with families and businesses gathering for the annual celebration of lights. Crowds filled downtown on Thursday as businesses and restaurants opened their doors for the celebration. The Hastings Area Chamber leading the event. For the second straight year, they coordinated favorites like a 15-foot Christmas tree, the lights display, and carriage rides. Organizers say the turnout and community support reflect the spirit and excitement of downtown.
I think it's great that we have a ton of restaurants open tonight and people are getting to enjoy downtown in the evening. That doesn't happen all the time. I think it just illustrates how lots of groups can work together to organize a major event like this, to provide opportunities for our citizens to have a wonderful experience.
The Christmas tree and sleigh will be in place throughout the end of the year. News Channel Nebraska was live from the celebration of lights, showing all the action downtown, including the lighting of the giant Christmas tree. If you missed it, you can catch a replay of the broadcast on our News Channel Nebraska Facebook page. And staying with the holiday theme, the city of Norfolk gearing up, hosting all kinds of events in town. Sarah McKenna has more.
The holiday spirit is in full swing in downtown Norfolk with lights, music, and the Hometown Holidays Festival happening on Tuesday.
Santa's going to be in town. We'll light the Christmas tree. There's a ping pong drop. So there's a bunch of things that different organizations are doing for Hometown Holidays that night. There's going to be a lighted parade.
Organizations like the River Point Creative District, Visit Norfolk, and more will be hosting things like the ping pong drop, which gives people prizes from local businesses. Elves will be walking around to help guests, and of course, Santa will be hearing lists from children. Family fun will fill the night on the 25th, but from November 20th to December 20th, there is a pop-up shop downtown for local artists to get recognized.
Some of your favorite artists that you've known for a long time in Norfolk, along with some folks who have just graduated from Wayne State. What's also neat is a lot of folks, they might be people that you know, and you didn't know that they create things.
Artists will have their work on display and for sale all month long. One local artist creates pottery and knows just how special a handmade gift is during the season.
Giving a handmade gift has always been the best tradition about the holidays. And here somebody can walk in and find an amazing piece of art that was created by somebody in our local community.
The pop-up is only open on select days, and Saturdays will have extra events like artists in store and more. All events are happening downtown on Norfolk Ave. In Norfolk, Sarah McKenna, News Channel, Nebraska.
And a reminder, you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. This is News Channel Nebraska.